This training video is brought to you by K Alliance. K Alliance is the 21st century's educational corporation, specializing in the most comprehensive enterprise training solutions, ranging from e-learning to instructor-led training. Press play for success. After watching this video, be sure to become a Facebook fan to receive the latest updates, promotions, and course releases. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel to preview the latest desktop, soft skills, and IT training videos.
Once we've assessed the need for migration to Windows Server 2008 or 2008 R2, then the next step is preparing to migrate. The first phase is a planning phase. That includes understanding the deployment and migration goals that the organization is trying to achieve, as well as the reasoning behind the migration, in addition to just a clear understanding of the processes and the risks that are involved. No migration is without risk. So there are certain inherent risks that we're trying to mitigate as much as possible. There's a variety of supported scenarios for migration, and the steps are really going to be very similar for each type of migration. Okay, for instance, standalone servers, domain member servers, SAN storage, distributed file system, local storage, shadow copies migration. Now that's not to say that the individual steps are going to be identical. Of course there are different steps for DFS versus SAN, SAN versus local storage. Of course there are, but the primary phases, the overall arching processes are pretty much the same. Okay, supported operating systems for file services migration are Windows 2003, SP2, and later, and that does include the Server Core Edition for Windows Server 2008. There are a variety of tasks that we will need to understand when it comes to the planning phases. First of all, determining which file services to install on the source server or on the destination server, and that's going to be in relation to which ones are installed on the source server that actually need to be migrated. It's possible that you're not migrating everything. We could be doing a partial migration instead of a complete migration. Next one, if the migration includes the file server resource manager, then all the drive letters should be the same. Now this is if you're coming from R2 of 2003 or 2008 to 2008 R2, then you're using file server resource manager most likely. We just need to make sure that the drive letters are consistent. Okay? Even if it's local storage versus SAN, they still need to be consistent. Next one, block remote user access to the distribution server until the migration is complete. Okay, basically, we don't want any users accessing files as they're being copied and migrated. That's the server, the source server that is getting the information copied to. File services migration will preserve the file and folder permissions, but it is possible that you need to account for inherited permissions. Now we can think about this, and in the planning phase, that's kind of where we're at. You know, just consider that on how you structure the file and folders on that destination system. While inherited permissions will no longer apply. Explicit permissions will apply. Newly inherited permissions will be applied. So therefore, I just need to model that new directory structure similar or identical to the source directory structure. If the migration includes DFS, then DFS needs to be installed on the destination system, and that system must be be a member of the same domain. Windows Server migration tools have to be installed on both source and destination, and we need to back up the system and export the DFS namespace in order to perform the migration as well. Okay, so those are the kind of preparation steps in preparing to migrate file services from Server 2003 or Server 2008 up to Server 2008 R2, and just a variety of considerations that we need to think about. In the next section, we'll actually move into performing that migration or the execution phase.